Today we're going to be going over the basic operation of the PT33 Lsc Micro.
Okay.
Your power cord, plug in, switch, turn the machine on and off. That's your roller pressure adjustment. Pull it out, move it up or down depending on how much pressure you want on it. This knob here, you turn and it opens up the feed gate here. That helps you feed laminate. Suction control potentiometer, blower control potentiometer, override button for the feed table. Up here we have your air blow adjustment. You turn that, it opens up a gate down here to adjust how much airflow goes through. Next to that is your separator finger height adjustment. It adjusts the height of the separator fingers to make sure you only get, it's right up in here, to make sure you only get one sheet in at a time. Okay. This knob adjusts how high the feed table comes up before it starts feeding. This knob here adjusts the skew of the table. Number 5 should be centered. When feeding laminate, you have to make sure that your laminator has heated up already. Make sure you have no pressure on the rollers and flip up your feed gate. Take off this cover here. And make sure that your slitters are pushed out of the way. Black end cap goes to black holder, white end cap goes to white holder. Should just clip in there nicely, not wiggle around. And then it goes underneath the idler shaft and then just gets draped over that top roller. Then you take your bottom feed guide and it slides in here, taking care not to hit the rollers. And those 2 holes should line up on those 2 cap screws. Bottom roll, same thing as the top, black end cap, black holder, white end cap, white holder. But for feeding, you can put it in there. It gives you a little extra space. You take that, you run it up along the wall behind this idler shaft and just push it up until it becomes visible up here. Keep in mind these rollers are heated, so they will be warm. You pull that up and drape it over the top one. Then remove your guide. Once again, making sure you don't hit the rollers. So you got the bottom guide taken out. You take a piece of paper, kind of put it in between the rolls, and hit the jog button, taking care that it doesn't curl back up and over and that it goes underneath the rollers there. Making sure it continues its path in between the rollers. Replace this top cover. and flipping down your feed gate. And then down here, you now have to move it to the holders there. So just keep it tight as you roll it back up and clip it in. And if you press that button, it'll cut off the laminate and spit everything out. And then you are good to go. Your film is loaded. It's up to temperature. We're using 3mm film. With 3mm, you can encapsulation or cut into the sheet. With 5mm, you have to do encapsulation. And below 3mm, you have to cut into the sheet. So first, we're going to set one up. We want to make these 12/18s into 11/17s. So first thing we do is select your paper size. You have some presets, or you can customize it. Film thickness, you can't change that. It is read off the bottom RFID chip on the laminate. This machine only has one RFID reader in the bottom of the roll, on the bottom of the machine. So it's important you keep the rolls together and paired, because it can't tell you if the top one matches the bottom one. Work count is how many sheets you want to run through. If you put it to 0, it will run until the feed table is out of paper. Temperature of your upper roller, that's what it is. That's what it's set to. If you just press on it, you can change. Left trim is your lead cut trim, your first trim. Right trim is your tail trim. So since we're doing 11/17 off of 12/18, we want to set these to 0.5. You can tell it's cutting in because there's a minus sign in front of it. Speed, 4 different speeds. Edge set, that's if you're doing encapsulation. We'll cover that later. Simple cut is not available at the moment. It is there for future development. Multi-card is if you want to cut multiple cards off one sheet. So we've got our paper size, film thickness, our trim, our temperature. We're just going to do 1. So now we have the cut on the front and back. We need to set up the slitters. This machine has manual adjusting slitters. If you look here, you've got a gauge. So 13/19, 12/18, 12 inch, 11/8.5, and an 11 inch. So since we want it an 11 inch wide, we slide these over to 11 inch and lock that lever down into the groove. Same on this side. Sometimes they're a little sticky. Lock that down. If you need to fine adjust where the slitters are, if you loosen up this thumb screw, and then you can turn this thumb screw to finely tune the position of your slitters. So we have our slitter set up, we have our laminate in, we have paper on the table, and we have the job set up. So these are your jog buttons. It rolls the rollers forward or backwards. That's a test button. It'll send one sheet through. And then that's the play button. It will run the job depending on how many counts you have there. So for now, we're just going to run the test button. Oh. So what that's telling us is we forgot to put the pressure down on the roller. So we go over here and we need to add some pressure. Now we'll be able to test it. So now you have a 12/18 sheet that we have cut down and laminated to 11/17. So now we're going to do an encapsulation job. What that means is it leaves a border of laminate around the sheet and does not cut into the sheet. Like the other job, you got to select your paper size, 12/18. Film thickness is already read off there. So what you want to do for encapsulation is you want edge set turned on. You could see how the minus sign here went to a plus sign. Minus sign means it's cutting into the sheet. Plus sign means it's leaving laminate around. So we don't want a 1/2 inch, let's go a 1/4 inch front cut. So that will leave a 1/4 inch of laminate in front of the sheet. And then if we change that, that will leave a 1/4 inch of laminate behind the sheet. And since we want a 1/4 inch of laminate on the sides, if you take that and move it to the notch beside the 11, no, sorry, if you move it to the 12/18 mark, that should leave a 1/4 inch of laminate along each side. Once again, you can fine tune by loosening up these and moving that. Since we're just running a test, I'm not going to worry about a work count. We've still got pressure on the rollers, so I'm just going to hit the test button. So now, as you can see, we've got a 1/4 inch of laminate around. This side actually looks like it is not as big. You can see the laminate's a little smaller on that side. So then that's when you would come in here and adjust the position of your slitter. If you're going to adjust the position of your slitter, you lift up that. Then you loosen this thumb screw. And then you can either move it that way to bring it in or move it that way to bring it out. When you have it where you want it, tighten that thumb screw back down and then move that slitter back into position. So now we want to do a multi-card cut. So we're going to take this 12/18 and cut 2 8.5x11s out of it. So first thing, make sure your page size is correct. You're going to want edge set turned off, and you're going to want multi-card turned on. So with multi-card turned on, you go to your set button, and these are all the cuts that you are cutting out of that machine. So for your first cut, we'll say we wanted a 1/4 inch. So that will cut a 1/4 inch in from the lead edge. And then for your second cut, that will be our first 8.5 inch card. And then we're going to want, say, a 1/2 inch gutter cut. So 0.5 for cut size 2. And then cut size 3 will be our second 8.5x11. So we'll put 8.5 there. And then it automatically defaults with what is left of the sheet there, 1/4 inch. That looks good. So from here, you can save the job any way you want. So let's go 8.5 by 11, enter, and now it is saved. Since we're making it 11 inches, you're going to want to move these over to the 11 inch mark. So now that will cut the sheet to 11 inches, while the cross cut will cut it to 8.5. Go back to your ready screen. Once again, you can put in how many pieces you want. We're just going to run the test, so we're going to press the test button. If you're running a job, you would put your count in and then press the play button. And we now have two 8.5 by 11s. So I showed you how to set up a multi-card job with all the different cut sizes, and then we saved it. If you want to retrieve that job, sorry, you have to press escape first, and then you press the load button, and then those are all the jobs that you've saved. We've got two 8.5 by 11s here, so I'll just pick that up. It gives all the information. Then you can either delete it, you can load it, or you can go back to the previous screen. So you want to load it. If you want to just double check your measurements, you can go to set, make sure everything is good, and then you are good to run. So when you're removing the film, you want to relieve the pressure on your rollers. You never want to relieve pressure on your rollers when they are cold. You always want to do it while it is warm, or else you will damage the rollers. We start by removing this cover. Opening that up, and then lifting up your feed gate. And then you take a knife and then use that idler shaft as a guide. Cut the laminate loose, and then down on the bottom, same thing. You can pull this out, put it back there, and then using that idler shaft as a guide, cut that loose. And then keep in mind these rollers are hot. Then what you can do is jog it through the machine. Move these slitters back out of the way. Jog it through the machine. And then you are ready to put new laminate in. So if your paper comes out the back of the machine curled either up or down, the way to fix that is by using the tension on the rolls. So the curl is going to follow the tension. So if it is curling up, that means you either have too much tension on the top or not enough on the bottom. So you can loosen it up with these thumb screws, making sure you keep them both even. Or if you come to the bottom, same idea as the top, you can loosen or tighten the tension on there.